Hey everyone, welcome to Average Joe Preparedness. I'm your host. My name's Rick, and I'm an average Joe. First things first, I'm sure you guys have seen if you're watching the news or if you're just living life, and that is anger. I've done videos on it before that you got to stay positive and you can't let things get to you. That negative emotions, block our brain function, blah blah blah. If you're new here, if you go back and watch my videos, if you're coming back, I want to thank you. And it's nothing new. I've done it before. I'll do it again. I'll let you guys know. You got to stay positive. You got to stay happy, no matter what's going on. It's the only way you're going to learn how to deal with it. And people, it's just getting worse. People getting worse. People getting angry. People getting more angry. And there's nothing, again, there's nothing that's going to solve it. So you need to take care of yourself, be positive, think preparedness. That's what this channel is mostly about, is getting through things, not just surviving, but thriving if you can. But yeah, first thing we're going to touch on, please stay positive. Now I'm going to tie a bow on a few things. I showed you some of, in my last video, I believe it was, I showed you some of my raised garden beds and how I'm been, the progress of them, the older ones, the newer ones, the ones I'm doing now, how I'm prepping them for next year. And I talked about, in the past, I've talked about a strip along the yard that I have no idea what the previous owner was doing there. When I got here, it was weeds. You couldn't even see the little weed barrier. It's like a little guard that goes around it that lets you know that this is like a planter. And he had a drip system in there that was disabled and old and rotting. So basically each section of it, I've been tearing it up slowly, and now most of it's torn up, but it isn't prepped yet really well for gardening. But I did garden it in the last 2 years, sections of it, and I'm moving down and making it bigger, making it bigger, making it bigger. But I've talked about it before, so yeah, I got a little clip here of me showing it to you. So we can go to that real quick. Yes? So when we first moved in, this section of the yard, this was completely overgrown. You couldn't even see this divider here. And this was basically grass, weeds, whatever. And so I cleared it out. And this last year, this section of fencing, planted. You can see it's prepared for next year. And I cleaned out sections of it, a little bit at a time. I planted here. This is our onion patch. If you look, we got some old onions, but if you'll notice, I mean, it's coming up on winter, and those little things, all those little things are onions. I knocked the seeds off the onions. There's a plane going by. I don't know if you guys can hear me. But yeah, this section, you can see the compost layer I laid on top of it. You can see the onions that'll be coming back, and hopefully this will just keep coming back year after year. Next section, it still needs compost. I'm working it under. And then the further down we go, the less developed this bed is. These are broccoli. And I don't know if you could tell by looking at that. We cut it back, how big broccoli plants get. They get huge. And apparently they want to keep growing, so we'll see what happens to them next year. And then again, the bed is less developed the further this way you go, because I did it a section at a time. And yeah, places in your yard you can grow things. Again, if you just imagine, this was all rock. Here, I'll show you what it looks like down here. It's just, it was terrible. Now this isn't going to be developed as a pathway, but this is what all of that used to look like, but full of weeds, and it was just nasty. So just places you can grow things if you want to. Now that strip, I'm still, as long as weather holds, I'm still putting in compost. I'm tilling it up. Mostly it's putting compost in there to the stuff I make, and I've shown you, and I've got another little thing here in a second, to get the ground so that fruits and, well, it's all vegetables right now, really live to grow, because that ground, if you, it's just clay, and I don't know what he had grown there in the past, but it's just like dead soil. It's terrible. It's terrible stuff. You can see in the video when I got all the way to the end what all of it originally looked like, with more weeds and stuff, but the soil is just terrible. So it's a process, and you got to know that if you're going to start growing things, your soil is very important, and it's a process. And yeah, I could just tear it all out and go buy a bunch of stuff and put it in there. But that's, I mean, I kind of do that a little bit with the beds and the raised garden beds, which I'm not doing anymore. More and more of it is, what can I do? And again, I've talked about it before, shortening supply chains, doing it on your own, being independent, being self-dependent. That's what we're aiming for. Yes? And then another thing, I showed you, I have on this side of the yard where the raised garden beds I have a container that I collect rainwater from. And I think I mentioned it in the thing. If I didn't in the video, I think I did in the little clip I'm about to show you, is you need to check with your local laws, because each state are different on collecting rainwater. Yeah, I know. It's illegal in some places to collect rainwater. Yeah, don't get it, doesn't matter. And in some states, there's just limitations of how much you can collect and blah, 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 doesn't matter. So here's a little bitty clip, because I have another one on the other side of the house. Now, it really isn't in a point of view. People can't really see it, so it's there, and anyways, you'll see it. But it's just to show that I have two. I have one on the other side of my house, and in the future, I'm probably going to get more if I can get them like these, which if I can get them on sale, if I can get ones that look halfway decent, if I can get ones that are the right size for where I need. So I'm going to continue to get water, because water is life, and yeah, droughts and the such. So anyways, here's just a little clip of the water container that I have on the other side of the house. Yay. Now, I'd shown you a water container looked just like this. It was on the other side of the house, though. Now, this is over by where our air conditioning is. Again, the part of the house that no one really uses or no one really sees. I put this in. I tapped it off from our downspouts. And again, it's another 50 gallons of water, sort of decorative. And I highly recommend, you have to check with the laws in your states. I know that sounds silly, but they actually have laws on how much water, if you can collect water at all. That's a subject of another time. Now, finances. I always hit on finances, sometimes big, sometimes small. Today's going to be small, just really quick. So I'm all about not spending money if you don't have to. I'm all about saving money, because finances. There's other videos, you can go look at them, that I've made about finances. That's up to you. So just a little thing, real quick. I have a jacket. It's right here. See this? It's an old jacket. I've had it for years. I really like this jacket. It's comfortable. It's a little hoodie. And, you know, don't judge me by this jacket, but I really like it. And I wear it when I go outside and doing my yard work, when the weather gets colder, either in the fall, late fall, or spring, sometimes in the winter if I'm not really going to go out and play in the snow. So it's thick and it's comfy and it's broken. It's one of those jackets that, you know, when you throw it on and you're like, man, I really like this jacket. Okay, so 10 days ago, give or take, what happened was I'm putting on the jacket, I'm wearing it, and like I said, it's old, and the zipper from the bottom started splitting. So it was wearing out. And so that happened for about a week, until finally the zipper just broke. Now, I could just throw this thing away. Yes? But instead, I really like my jacket. So I went online, and on eBay, I found it, and it was like 30 bucks, plus shipping, handling, taxes, and everything. But it wasn't my color and it wasn't my size. But I did find it on Amazon, in my color, in my size, and it was just under $80. Did I mention I really like this jacket? Yes? But did I want to pay 80 bucks? Well, I didn't want to pay 80 bucks. So what I did instead was I sew a little bit. Yes, don't judge me, I sew. And but I've never done zippers, so I got online and I looked up what it would take to replace the zipper on this. And I don't have the equipment. There's like a special little thing that goes on your sewing machine for it, and it looked a little bit complicated, and I hadn't done it. But what I do know locally is a seamstress, and she does things on the side. So I got a hold of her and I was like, hey, can you change out my zipper? And I'll pay for, I'll pay for the zipper and I'll pay for your time. She doesn't charge that much per hour. Maybe you can find somebody in your local area, you can Google like local businesses or whatever. So the point being is, yeah, I don't know if you see that. It had a plastic zipper before, and it's been replaced with a metal zipper, and it cost me total for the parts and for paying for her time, it cost me like 30 bucks. which is what one of these would have cost me on eBay, not brand new, because eBay is what it is. However, they didn't have my color, they didn't have my size. I really like this jacket. And not what it would have cost on Amazon, which was, like I said, it was just under 80 bucks. And that one would have probably been brand new, but it wouldn't have been broken in. So, little price saving tip, oops, sorry about that. If you want to save money, is I didn't throw my jacket away. It was comfortable for me and I like it. I got it replaced, the zipper, so that the jacket's fixed. And it's that whole reduce, reuse, recycle, upcycle, repurpose, or just fix things. So that cost me 30 bucks. I got to keep the jacket that I like. I got to employ a local person who does things, a skill that they have. I don't have that skill yet. And there wasn't any, it was done person to person. So you can see all the things that were eliminated. I don't want to say them, but hopefully you can pick up what I'm talking about. There was a lot of stuff eliminated because it was a local. And yeah, and it cost me 30 bucks versus 80 bucks. So technically I can take what, like 50 bucks and kind of put it in my pocket that I saved. That's 50 bucks, people. Yes? So anyways, that's just the short little finance hint of the day, is if you can repair something, if you can, when it comes to sewing, if you can find someone, either get the skill yourself. Like I said, it's beyond my skill to put a zipper in. Now later on, if I practice a few times, I could probably do it. And I got to get the little foot pad for my sewing machine. There's a special one, supposedly, according to the internet. That's what I saw it. And when I have time, because it's cold and I wanted my jacket. So I paid, again, someone to do it, but it didn't cost me what it would cost me to get a new one. So I don't know if you can take this logic and move it into other things. I hope you are, to where you can fix things. Either you learn the skill or find someone locally. Remember, I talked about supply chain, shortening it. And now that might not be supply chain in a way, someone actually doing it, but I kind of think it is. All these bring the resources close to you. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, guys, just a real quick one for today. I got stuff to do. It's Monday. Yes, here. I don't know when this video is going to go out, but it's Monday right now when I'm filming it. Mondays are always busy. So I hope you guys are staying positive. I hope you're happy, and I hope really that you are being prepared.